welcome to this week's video on Wiseguy 2, and we have two guys here. And this is Curt Rierson. You may have seen him on some other videos. He's done some editing on the channel. He will be doing more editing in the future. And I've got someone else over here in my members-only kind of little cave here. So we're going to talk about taking some road trips and some of our favorite road trips. So what would be good is if you're watching this and you've been on some road trips is to do the same thing in the comments. So like I'm going to talk about a road trip and Kurt's going to talk about a road trip and kind of like what was the best part of it, or you know, a superlative, I guess you could say. And then at the end we're going to tell you what our favorite road trip is, maybe even some little travel hacks. And then in the comments do the same thing. I want to hear about your favorite road trips, why it was your favorite road trips, or maybe even some funny stories, because we might have some funny stories.
Oh, we definitely have some funny stories, yeah.
So I'm going to start with, you know, before I did YouTube, I was always traveling internationally, you know that, and I would do some crazy trips. And I did 3 kind of road trips, you could say, in other countries. One is probably a cheat because I went to Easter Island and rode a bicycle around the whole country.
I remember that.
Well, it's not a country. Easter Island is actually part of, what's the country it's part of? Not Argentina. Chile.
Chile, yeah.
So Easter Island is part of Chile, but it feels like its own country. I took a bike when I was in a little better shape, and I rode, I think it was 14 miles around the whole thing. That was a bit of a road trip. I did get caught in a storm. So what's funny about that is that this was before YouTube, even though I made a video about it. I had filmed not knowing I would have YouTube channel, but I had an old camera, like an actual camera, not like my phone. And it started pouring down rain. Like, I mean, it was a torrential downpour, and I'm on a bicycle with a video camera. So I put the video camera in my shorts. So that was the driest place that I could think to put it, because there was nowhere to hide from the storm.
So it's an X-rated video at this point.
Luckily, I had stopped recording. And I would hit under a tree to try to just stay. It was so miserable.
Yeah, some storm chasing there too, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that was a memorable road trip. But Easter Island, I would say, is the most remote place I've ever been. 2 other real quick ones before I'm going to ask Curt about an international trip is I went to New Zealand. And I drove from the southern tip of New Zealand to the northern tip of New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
And I went skydiving. I went to a rugby match. I rode a ferry because there's 2 islands and you have to get a ferry across. It was incredible, but I'd say that's the most spectacular. I mean, it's like, well, they shot Lord of the Rings there. Right. It's like, that's where they shot it.
Pretty epic.
And so that would be the most spectacular road trip. And then the other one I was going to mention is Iceland. I did Ring Road, which is, there's one road that goes around Iceland. Yep. And I felt like I was on a different planet. I felt like this is not Earth. I'm somewhere that I've never been before. And so I went to some places that was incredible. And so that's what I felt about Iceland. So there's 3 international trips. What about you internationally?
Internationally, Barcelona is about the only place I went. Went there with my wife. Right before we got married. And it was one of those trips that we both planned on, you know, because we did the whole TripAdvisor, and the whole motivation is like, I've never been overseas. She's been to France before, but she asked me, you know, what draws you to Europe? You know, what would be something that you would want to see? And to me, it's some of the art and the culture and the architecture. And so Barcelona fit all those boxes and checked them all. You got Moreau, you got Gaudi, and then just the countryside is just beautiful. The one thing that happened was when we got over there, my wife came down with a horrible case of bronchitis, and so I had to get her to a doctor or get some sort of, you know, because there's nothing at the hotel. I have, you know, 4 years of college Spanish under my belt, so I had to go down to a Spanish pharmacy, which no English, and tried to work my way to get her some meds, and She survived. My gosh, she was a trooper. But yeah, that was, even though the sickness, it was still one of the most beautiful places and most culturally just poignant places I've ever been. So.
Yes, speaking of Spanish, I was in South America, and I didn't do road trips, but I did flights everywhere. And not knowing Spanish was difficult trying to order food in some of the places.
Yeah. Duolingo. Look into it. It's a good thing.
Okay, so back on this side of the pond, I guess you could say, it's the 100th anniversary of Route 66. And the first video series I really ever did was Route 66. And did it from beginning to end. I've done other videos too, and doing more this year because it's the anniversary and lots of people are out in Route 66.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that was, for me, I would say if a word would describe Route 66 for me, it's nostalgic. You know, and the old signs, the old hotels, and especially now they're doing so much work to like attract tourists, and it really is, like, you can see it's a difference right now. There's so many new things since 6 years ago or 5 years ago when I did it. So Route 66 for me is, if you want nostalgic road trip, that would be the one to take.
Yeah, I'll kind of dovetail off of that. We went to Luther, Oklahoma, and when you go down there, you catch all those murals and those signs that have been renovated just for this occasion, I think, for this year. And but yeah, it's a beautiful area down there, and a lot of the area we went was kind of, well, I wouldn't say a resort, but it's where a lot of the oil companies will send their company retreats to these areas that have like little Airbnbs, but it's in the middle of pasture, but it's just very relaxing, but you're like 30 minutes away from Oklahoma City. So yeah, that was a really good, I think the most relaxing road trip we've had in a while.
And you guys have pets, right?
Yep. And that was one of the conditions was, finding something to integrate us bringing a pet, and they actually had a dog pool. I mean, like a pool for dogs. Sure. And they loved it. So
were there a bunch of dogs in the pool?
We were the only people there of the entire grounds, except for the groundskeeper. I mean, there's probably like 20 Airbnbs. We were the only people there. And yeah, so it was, I think that kind of set a memory, because it's like, wow, we own this place.
So do you travel with dogs very often? Was it 50-50? How often do you do that?
Dogs our dogs are older now, and we don't like to board them when they're older. They have some medicine and stuff they have to take. So we try to find road trips where we can take them. We do, and also to near Kannapolis, Kansas. Just Airbnbs that are dog friendly. And
do you how do you check if it's dog friendly or not?
Usually the Airbnb will have some sort of or you just call them, and the dog owners are very sympathetic to people who want to bring their dogs. So, and there's a lot of them out there. So yeah, we never have a problem with that.
Well, that's good. Yeah. So
I
don't know. I don't have a dog, so
yeah,
that's good for people. I know a lot of people travel with their dogs. So, okay, next one I'm gonna go with is US 89. So that was the one I did the year after Route 66, and I went to Canada and drove to Mexico, and it was like through the national parks up there, down through Utah, in between Bryce Canyon and Zion, and just, it was incredible. So the term I would use for that is probably, that's the most scenic road trip I've ever taken, was US 89, and it's been kind of advertised as one of the most scenic drives in the United States that people probably don't know about. They know about those scenic places, but they don't know that there's one road that kind of hits all these places. And so I think I was the first person to ever really do that on YouTube for US 89. People had done Route 66,
right?
And US 89 is kind of this hidden gem of a road trip in terms of what I would consider most scenic. So US 89 gets my vote for most scenic.
Okay, well, I think my most scenic is in New Mexico, a road trip through Santa Fe, to Santa Fe. So we hit Route 66 a little bit through Gallup. But yeah, once you hit those foothills and you start getting in there. Of course, my wife, she cannot drive through switchbacks, so she's got her eyes closed most of the time. But once we were there, it was, we didn't want to leave. So yeah, New Mexico, Santa Fe.
New Mexico, and you helped edit a video about the Enchanted Circle.
Yes.
And so New Mexico is probably one of the places people don't think about with road trips a lot is how unique New Mexico is.
Yeah, and accessible. Even to Taos. I mean, you can still get up there in a day or two. So
yeah. All right. Next one for me is another one where I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think I'm the first person to do the Oregon Trail from beginning to end and document it on YouTube. And for me, that one, as I was doing that one, it was scenic, it was nostalgic. But I just learned so much history. It was so historic. When you think about the people that were on the wagons and you saw the ruts and some of those things, and then you went to some of the towns that existed during the Oregon Trail days, and then you saw like the rivers they had to float down or they had to ford, and it's like you're just trying to put yourself in their shoes and you think about what it would have been like doing that. So the Oregon Trail, which is not a real traditional road trip, but one I would highly recommend, to me would be, if I was to give it a superlative, it would be historic.
Absolutely, yeah. I was thinking about that too, about how those first, pioneers were, when they hit like Kansas, like, okay, everything's good. And then Nebraska, getting a little rocky. And then they see these crazy ass mountain formations. It's like, I'm good. We're stopping here.
That's why some towns exist in Kansas and Nebraska, because they were like, we're not going to go over there.
Nope. Stick it right here.
You went on a trip in the Northeast.
Yes.
Last year.
It's the most recent trip. And it's kind of we took a plane and then we got a car. So it still qualifies as a road trip.
Sure.
But we went to Portland, Maine, which is beautiful on its own. But my wife and I we love to hike. And so we decided we'd take a day trip to New Hampshire, to the White Mountains. And it was a perfect day for it. And it was like an hour away. But yet the scenery just transformed completely. These beautiful. It's a ski resort essentially over there now. But during the summertime, it's just beautiful scenic mountains, and highly recommend. Going.
So where did you fly into? You flew into Portland,
Mm-hmm.
and then drove to New Hampshire.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and when people think about road trips, they may think about, I don't know, Highway 1 over there or something like that, because you're not too far from it. But I drove last summer up through there as well, and a little different. I went to some towns and things like that, but just obviously it's outdoor culture. It's just a culture there that they're not gonna be inside watching YouTube as much. They're gonna be.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking about some of those cold days, where they're having just ice storms. And I was like, man, it's beautiful now, but man, probably don't want to be here in January. So
yeah, for sure. I got one more, and then we're gonna tell you our favorites. So one more trip that I've done. Actually, I did it in multiple parts. Was US 50. And I'd done it from Kansas to California, and then I did Missouri one weekend, and then I did the rest of it last summer as part of this big trip that I actually drove up to Maine. And thinking through that one, because that's like, what do they call it, the backbone of America kind of a thing.
Yep.
And Route 66, US 89, US 50, all these roads were built about the same time, these 2-lane roads, and they connected all these small towns. And to me, in US 50, what it comes to mind as, it's like the most diverse road trip, because you're going through the crazy remoteness, barren parts of like Nevada, and then you're getting to like Washington, D.C. And then in the middle, you have like West Virginia and
Peabody,
Indiana, Peabody, Kansas. And it's so, if you did that trip from east to west, like at one time, or west to east, it would be so different from, you'd see all parts of America, and that's what's kind of cool about America. Like north to south is, you might kind of stay in the Rocky Mountains or something like that.
Yeah.
But east to west, you're just going to see so much variety and like diversity of the nature. You could have all those things in one if you want a road trip with diversity.
Yep, absolutely.
So what's your favorite road trip?
I'm going to have to go back to Santa Fe, and it's strictly nostalgia. It's the last road trip I went with my oldest dog, Bo, before he passed. But I have this awesome photo that I took of my wife and my dog, Bo, and it's this beautiful sunrise, and it's got the full moon, but it's still out at 6 a.m. Santa Fe, pink and blue background with mountains, and just that picture just is like, that was a good day. So.
New Mexico's, it's like spiritual out there.
Oh,
it just feels different out there.
Yeah, and like, I guess, what's that place? Sedona, Flagstaff, those kind of have. And a lot of people say, well, there's like all the iron in the mountains is creating some sort of, vortex. There could be a lot of things, but I think it's just the beauty of the place.
Yeah,
probably.
And there's a lot of Native American history out there. And stuff too. So if I get to pick, this is really difficult, and I don't know if I'll anger anyone that loves Route 66, because I love Route 66. but my favorite one is probably the Oregon Trail. And it was probably because I felt like I was discovering it too, because there's one guide that I found on the Oregon Trail, and other than like people that actually were on the Oregon Trail that wrote like diaries, but it's just really not that advertised as a road trip. And so that's what's cool, is you can make like a road trip out of going from Wichita to Santa Fe, and you could hit multiple historic roads, or you could fly somewhere and then drive around and make your own road trip, multiple different ways. But that's the fun about getting out and doing it is. So definitely want to hear what your favorite road trips are in the comments, and why, and maybe a funny story, or like Curt had a pretty amazing memory there about Santa Fe. So if we end the video, what about any kind of travel hacks? When you think of anything that would be like, I've got one that's about hotels, but what about, do you have anything like that?
I would say make sure if you're going to drive at night, make sure you know the area you're driving into, and check the weather. The one we went to Luther during the summertime, Oklahoma storms popping up, and it's pitch black going down dirt roads, and we're like, even with Google Maps, it's like you're on your own. These roads aren't marked. So I think for sure, check the day before, maybe check the Google Earth and see what's around it. And but yeah, that whole Boy Scout thing, be prepared. That's kind of my hack. Of course, that should be an everyday thing, right?
I can tell you that I am always filming in the daytime, and because I have an occasion every once in a while, I had a long day and been in the middle of nowhere. Now, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so but when you're somewhere you don't know in the middle of nowhere, and it's dark, and then there might be people like, who is this person? Like, it gets a little bit eerie, like they don't know who you are, especially in the middle of nowhere. So explore in the daytime. Just do it while the daylight's, well, that was daylight. Okay, I've got one travel thing I would say with hotels. So I stay in hotels a lot. I'm not a guy that camps. I like hotels. I'm a wimp. Like a shower, and I like
You did stay in your car though when you did the little round the island there.
I have done that. Yes, I have slept in airport benches. So, but I like a bed and a shower, and I stay in some historic hotels and stuff. But then I'll stay in a normal hotel, and one of the things that I learned is there's an art to reading the reviews and to reading between the lines in the reviews, because it'll say, maybe it'll be rated 8 out of 10, and then it'll be maybe divided into categories. And so then if you read people's comments, because sometimes people are brutally honest and they'll tell, but a lot of times people are trying to be nice, especially if it's a mom and pop type of thing, but they don't want to be negative, but they'll kind of mention, hey, this was a really historic place to stay, a little dated. That's a clue that maybe it's the sheets are a little old, or the towels are not that great, So you look for little words like that. Dated, might need some, maintenance in the, or there's not a lot of lighting in the parking area.
Bring your own sheets. Just a little, just an advisory.
I always bring my own towel. So that's something for me. I just always pack a nice fluffy towel, because I don't understand how hotels don't have better towels, but that is what it is. So, all right. If you got any travel hacks, put them in the comments as well.
Yes, please help us.
So hope you enjoyed that. Every Tuesday we're here on Wiseguy 2, and if we don't see you here and we're out on a back road somewhere, hopefully we will see you down a back road as well. Welcome into Travel with a Wise Guy. Well, I'm going to start that over.
Okay.
I hadn't thought of how to start this blooper.